Hey guys, welcome to Bar Z. My name's Stan and welcome to week 11. This is the week before Christmas. And not a whole lot going on. We're working on the system way down the aisle behind me there. And I'm just wandering around the job site. Just go over to see one of my buddies from Kentucky, see what he's up to, see how his conveyor's looking. Maybe we'll take a peek at the sandblast too. But let's get into week 11. Not a whole lot going on this week, so it'll probably be kind of a short video. All right, appreciate you guys watching, and let's check in on some other people. And they finally got the floor in, and they got all the grading down, and now they're finally starting to stand up a box. Then and only then can that conveyor rail push through that center, because that booth has to support the conveyor on the way through. That's why the structure is so substantial. And they're over there hanging wall panels. That's something pretty near and dear to my heart. So we do very much the same thing when we're doing it. But they're laying in sheet metal in between all the I-beams. And they're finally getting around to putting some of the drives in. There's a Caterpillar chain there that goes through that. And there's a take-up, that's where they take up the slack in the chain. So they're finally getting some of the drives on. They're actually taking delivery over here on drive chain. We'll walk over there and look at it. But there's a lot of chain going into the system. If you look around, all that rail's got to get filled up with chain. So these are all skids of conveyor chain. So quite a bit of it. They got their work cut out for them. Well, it turns out we went to hang the laser curtain. It turns out the laser curtain was 2.5 inches too narrow. It left us with a conveyor slot that was too small, and actually the laser eyeballs bolt to these, and they're a fixed length, and you can't cut the actual lasers. But it left us with a conveyor slot that was way too small. So we had to fabricate a little channel and beat it into submission and add 2.5 inches to one cross member. In the header, all we had to do is move the bolt pattern out. So we had to weld on a flat bar and duplicate the slot. And then that's 1.25 inches per side. And we're having to do that in 4 places. And Jeff's there with the doctor with the whizzy wheel cutting these out, and we did pretty good, or he did pretty good. He duplicated those slots real nice. That's not bad for field work. A little grinding, a little paint makes us the welders that we ain't. Looks good. Good job, Jeff. All right. As they say, the devil wears Carhartt. Damn, it's cold here. Screw this place. Well, the air conditioners are getting power to them. Electrician's already started that. We started running power out to the big motors. This was our deal here. We got 2 conduit, 2 wall penetrations, one for the motor and one for the pulse down. I got icicles hanging off of my LBs. God, I do. Unbelievable. It's a balmy 28 degrees here today. Snow stopped. It all melted away, thank goodness. We're out here in the snow like we had good sense yesterday. Ridiculous. And we got our conduits. Like I said, we punched through the wall. We got up here. Then these come out. I'm still waiting on disconnects. I don't have disconnects yet. So these are going to go out to the disconnects, and then eventually out of the disconnect to each motor. But we're mirror image over here, kind of the same thing. And that other little conduit that comes out, it comes up, it has to go over to the pulse. That's for the reverse pulse on the filters. So we control the pulse and we control the motor. That's only 2 things out here. So we did have to do a little bit of conduit work, no more racking. And like I say, we're up to here. And that's a number 1 American wire gauge copper. Good for that motor. Well, my disconnects finally came in, so we got those installed. Nice. And we got our motors wired. And when it comes to these kind of motors, this is 75 horsepower. You don't trust wire nuts. Not wire nuts. Always use Polaris connectors. You've already got the schmoo inside of them, so your wires get conditioned on the way in. All your taps, everything. So on a 480 volt, you're going to use 6 per motor. And this thing's got a really huge pecker head on it. Big giant pecker head, so it's going to tons of room for those things. Black plastic caps go in here. Always face them straight up, so that if there's any moisture inside of there, it can't drain down inside of the connectors. Always point your Polaris connectors straight up. All right. But those are the big motors finalized outside. Well, we got the laser curtain done yesterday, and then they popped this one on me, and I forgot about it too. This is a setup that goes on the conveyor. He's got plastic links on kind of a bicycle chain. This rides right up against the conveyor chain and just runs around in circles. You say, what the hell does that do? Well, on the other side of it, we've got there's a little gearbox in here and a zero backlash coupling, and then a rotary encoder goes right out here. So we can always detect conveyor speed at all times. So even if the part comes into the laser curtain and then someone slows the conveyor down, by the time it gets from the laser curtain to the spray operation, we can still detect that and fire our guns at the proper time. So a rotary encoder is pretty important to have on the conveyor, and it's important for us to know the conveyor speed at all times. So that actually has to go right up there. And it's nice because they just hung conveyor chain yesterday. They pulled in a bunch of chain. This stuff I think is 10 feet at a time, but they got chain in it. It's a slack chain, but I still think we can get our encoder welded in and finalized. And a couple of people on the channel wanted to have a peek in the panel, so I thought I'd show you inside. They make a beautiful panel. They really do. This is all the field wiring up there across the top that comes in and gets tie wrapped down. Labels go on them. Then from there they get landed on those pin rails. But Gima builds a beautiful panel. And all our racking's coming to good use. All our wire baskets. We got cables everywhere. We started running down to the guns. See right there, there's a little waterfall that goes in right there. You just cut the basket, slip that in, and that gives you a place to spill your cables in. We just barely got the communications cables in. Those are those purple ones. We still got to get power supplies to them and hoses and all that stuff. And there's stuff that goes to the actual, those are the actual gun moving section of it. The actual guns, they got their own hoses and wires going to them, so there'll be quite a bit of stuff coming down there. But we've started running some stuff around, getting some cabling in a few places. That's a manual gun station there, and a little porthole for them to adjust the gun from inside the booth with an emergency stop on the side. That's typical for all of them. And then out here is the laser curtain. And you can see in there the laser eyeball. There's a laser eyeball right around there. And that goes all the way around the parts. This is the one that we had to widen yesterday. And there's the conveyor slot. That's where the parts hanger comes through. So it's just a laser screen all the way around, and it detects, it actually measures parts, height and width and length. It knows how long they are by how long it dwells going through the laser curtain. So it actually measures the part on the way through, so it can fire the spray guns accordingly. But we had to put up that laser screen yesterday. That's the one we had to widen. You can hardly tell. That's where we widened it right there. We had to widen it 2.5 inches. But for the most part, I don't think anyone's going to be able to tell. We widened that header up top, and then that got our conveyor slot to the correct width. Our conveyor was at the wrong width. Or our conveyor slot was at the wrong width. All right. And Alex is in there working away at doing plastic welding. All his seams look outstanding. The booth's smooth and continuous all inside. And Alex does a wonderful job. Okay, so here's the last of the, right before Christmas, we're getting ready to leave. Alex is down in there. We'll go see what he's up to here in a minute. Laser curtain got finished. There's a laser around there. And we did finish all our cabling. Any excess, we just coil it up and stick it in the basket. And then that runs down to other gun stations. This is a manual gun station here. They access through that window. And we've got more tie wrapping to do, obviously. But our gutters are starting to get full. Our tray underneath starting to fill up. We still got hoses to go. We put hoses on top of cables. And then we still got tie wrapping to do on all these. There's another loop of excess. Anywhere we got excess, we just store it in the rack. And there's all the festoons coming down to all the gun movers. Just cabling, no hoses yet. But that's coming. When we get back next year, we're going to be running hoses all over this thing. So this is bringing week 11 to a close. And this is our 3rd week on GEMA, maybe 4th week on GEMA, I don't remember. But this is how far you can get in a month on a system like this. Take 2. I thought I'd give you a close-up of some of the plastic welding. You can see it here all the way down to where he stopped right there. That's what the plastic weld looks like. It's kind of dark in here. We don't have any lights burning yet, but you know, the seams are almost non-existent. If I didn't point my finger there, I can't even see it through the camera. But he's actually seam welding the entire booth all the way down. It's pretty interesting. And Alex has been hard at it all week. I think he's got 4 days, 5 days into this thing. And he's done all the seams in the entire booth. And I believe he's on the home stretch. Hey Alex, you ready for Christmas? No? No? That makes 2 of us, buddy.
I hope they have a discount at the dollar store.
Oh! Hope your girlfriend's not watching.
Good, because my wife will be mad.
Oh, if your girlfriend was watching, your wife would be mad. Guaranteed that. All right, buddy, I want you to have a good Christmas. We're going to get out of here.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for everything.
Hey, no problem. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure meeting you.
See ya.
Oh, now it's too bright.
Better?
I laughed and I made it go up a little.
And back here in the hole, we're doing more cabling, more hose. There's another manual gun station there. And this is an unmanned area over here. There's going to be a bunch of hoses and stuff coming down here, hoses and wires. And when this booth's in operation, these will be in constant motion. So this is kind of a no fly zone for people. They'll put up guardrails and stuff. Here's that other cabinet we moved in place. There's another manual station right there for the guys down in the pit. Another e-stop. We got four of those manual stations. And our sieve and our pump, fire system, dust collector. And we still got an awful lot of cables and hoses to run. James from GEMA has already got a little bit of magic happening on the magic booth, magic control. Looks nice. Let's show him the whole thing. That's a touch screen. Where do I put my credit card in to take out money? Does it have a cash slot down here?
I haven't seen that.
GEMA only takes money. They don't give it away. All right, looks good, man. Okay, well that's it. I hope everyone has a good Christmas and a happy New Year. We're going to be back home for the holidays, and then we're going to be back out here, and then we'll do our week 12, 13, 14. This is week 11, and it's been a short week. I got a flight out of here tomorrow. I got to go get ready for. I got to go pack and return my rental car and all that. And the good news is the new year is going to bring me a repaired truck. I'm really excited to see my truck back. But I'm not going to drive it in the salt. If there's salt in the roads, I ain't on it. It's been cold here, and they say it gets worse in January and February. So Stan don't play that. He's not running his truck through the salt. I'll rent a car and we'll drive that through the slush. All right, I hope you enjoyed this week. I know it was kind of short, kind of a hodgepodge. We were really moving this week trying to get this thing done. All right, guys, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.